the senior coordinator. I'm the senior coordinator for the Governor's Office of Disability Affairs. Welcome to our final session of the day. I'm a 34-year-old male with short brown hair and a full beard. I'm wearing a red UL polo. Today, our panel is going to be on disability in education, and we have 4 panelists that are going to be presenting and talking about their experiences today. They are Chloe Fontenot, Jaden Lemelle, Alia Harrison, and Amina Mitchell. You can read the description from this session and the bios on pages 6, 7, and 8 in the conference booklet, which will be in the chat. So for this panel, we have a series of questions. The first of which is that I'm going to ask the panelists to go around and introduce themselves, and then also talk about what disability they have.
Hi everyone, my name is Amina Mitchell. I am wearing a blue Southern University polo. I am 21 years old, African American, and I have medium to bob hair, and I have hearing loss, and I have what's called sensory neural hearing loss. That's my disability.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alia. I'm 14 years old. I'm wearing a plain white button-down shirt. I have long black hair, and I have a mild case of cerebral palsy.
Go ahead, Jaden.
Hi, my name is Jaden Lemelle. I'm 19 years old. I'm a 19-year-old African American man, male with short curly black hair, and I'm wearing a blue plaid shirt. And my disability is dyslexia with a mild case of anxiety.
And last but not least, Chloe.
Hi, I'm Chloe Fontenot. I'm 16 years old, and I am a white female with shoulder-length blonde hair. I'm wearing a pink button-down shirt, and my disability is ocular albinism and POTS.
Thank you. And so the first question I want to ask y'all, the next question is, how has your disability impacted your life? And to that end, what are some misconceptions that you've encountered because of your disability, either in education or in your day-to-day life?
Well, I have hearing loss, and some misconception that I've encountered in my daily life, is that people assume I can't verbally communicate or succeed in anything like school or work. And I was born with it, so I've been wearing hearing aids since I was 6 months old. I wear hearing aids in both ears as well. And I would say I try to be an advocate to those who have disabilities or hearing loss also, so they won't feel like they're alone in the world.
Okay.
My disability has caused, well, let me start with the impacts. A positive impact it has caused is it shows me no matter what challenges that I face, that I can get through it. And, I really haven't encountered a misconception, I wouldn't say, but there has been a time that people thought I couldn't learn just because I wore a brace. But it has gotten better.
With my inconvenience with my disability is that I had a hard time like catching up to other students when the teacher was teaching, and actually one of my teachers actually thought that I was mentally an idiot, and to be honest, that broke me down a lot, and I was used to be bullied a lot because of dyslexia. But once I got into high school, it got a lot better. And because of sports and other activities, I'm able to now. I'm kind of how can I put this? I know I have to learn different, and now I don't let this disability deter me for what I want to do in my life.
So that leads pretty well into the next question. I forgot to mention this earlier, but you all are either in high school or in college. That in itself is a challenge, right, for anyone. So how has living with disability and having those challenges in your educational process sort of either impacted what you do on a day-to-day basis or what you want to do in the future? How has that really gotten into, shaped your present and also your future as well?
Well, I'm in college right now. I am a junior at Southern University, and I started college in the peak of the pandemic. So I read lips and I communicate with people verbally, but wearing mask was a big barrier for me to communicate with others, whether in school or just out in the society itself. And I'm also a rehab major, disability services rehab major. And so I want to become a director of Office of Disability Affairs at school or higher education, or a consultant to work with those who are disabled in society today and help those who may not understand or how to maneuver around those with disabilities. Like I can, since I can know from firsthand on experience growing up with a disability and people not knowing how to communicate or talk to me in different ways.
I'm going to be a sophomore this year at Wasma High School, and my disability has really gotten in the way of me being able to be on any team, besides the bowling thing I'm on. But I really wanted to do dance or major or something like that, but I really can't because of the slight paralysis I have on the left side of my body. So it has gone the way of that. And when I got older, I wanted to become a pediatrician so I could be able to help kids like myself and give them a chance to at least, want or try and believe that they can do this.
With my dyslexia, I kind of realized that with dyslexic people, we tend to visualize things and like to work with our hands a lot. So I'm a graduate from Beauchamp High, and I'm actually in August I'm going to be attending Universal Technical Institute in Houston and in North Carolina for auto mechanics, and to potentially be a part of a NASCAR pit crew. So I learned, okay, like reading stuff, like office jobs I wouldn't be good at. That I wouldn't be good. Like when I got into trade school and started working on and when I got to my automotive class, I learned that, oh, I'm better working with my hands. So how about I become an auto mechanic and pursue my career in that in auto mechanics, and I also had a very fine interest in it. So I think I'll be good in that with my dyslexia.
For me personally, being legally blind, I usually am not good with seeing things, obviously, but also my original aspiration was to be a crime scene investigator. And as I grew older and started to accept myself for who I was, being legally blind and not being able to thoroughly investigate things, I didn't give up on my dream. I more of switched over to the fact that there are more accessible jobs that I could probably work within the forensics field that would probably be more accessible to not only my visual impairment, but also the mobility issues that I have because of my POTS. So, yeah.
Thank you for that. And I will say that what really impresses me about the four of y'all is that, you know, you all have dreams and very, very lofty goals. And I think that the biggest thing to remember is that, you know, you can still have these goals. It's just, as each of you pointed out, you do have to slightly adapt the process in which you go about these, you know, your career ambitions or your personal ambitions, whatever they may be. And that's really commendable, that not only are you still able to find your passion, but also be, you know, as critically thinking and sort of be adaptable enough to say, okay, I want to do this, I can't do this. How can I then take what I'm doing, adapt it, and switch it to where I can still check some of these boxes that I've always wanted, but that fit who I am now. And I think that's really fantastic. The next question that we have is, in addition to, you know, within education, adaptive technology is a very important aspect of sort of leveling the playing field for people with different disabilities. How is some of those technologies that you've used been a benefit to you, and what are the biggest takeaways that you've learned in how they impact the way that you are able to be, you know, produce as a student?
Well, for me, I grew up, born and raised in Texas, so I had the what's it called? A paraprofessional helping me kind of be my social worker in a sense, helped me with school, and she helped me get an FM system, which is a microphone that my teacher would use all throughout grade school that would be connected directly to my hearing aids. So if she was facing the board at any time or had to walk out of the classroom, I could still be able to hear her clearly, but it wouldn't be any type of barrier with us. Just by being in a loud classroom or a full classroom with too much going on, I could still hear directly from the teacher. And I also had a closed captioning. Whenever there's a movie or video that would be shown in class, my teacher will always turn on a closed caption, or I'll ask them to turn it on for me, because it's not always, even though it's not always available, it's helped me understand what's being discussed in the video or the conversation in some type of movie or media that will be shown in class.
Well, for me, I had when I was in elementary, I had apparel to come get me out of class, and only have a few students in there, and we'd all have to get read aloud to. We'd for us to better understand. And I had to do math equations on the computer in order to stay caught up with my class. I have to study extra hard to stay up with them because teachers teach fast. So I needed them to slow down. So I had a Piro throughout elementary, but I tested out each time, which really hurt me because I really needed it. So throughout elementary, I struggled a lot, but I eventually got it back. And yeah.
With me in elementary, I can barely write in sentences with pencil and pen. So what my parents do, they gave me a word processor and a laptop. And while taking notes, I actually found out a way on Google Docs to change the background of the paper so I can have it in different colors. Because with dyslexia, if you have like white or black paper, like white paper but the words are in black, it tends to like switch out the letters around, and plus sometimes it also hurts my eyes. So whenever I change that background to green, blue, or whatever color that really fits for me, it really helped me to read. I also had the overlay. They also gave me overlays, and also I was in learning center. They would take me out of class a certain period or a certain time, and I'll be there for a good while. And with high school, they took away that word processor and just gave me the laptop, which the laptop helped me a lot. And plus, whenever I'm taking tests, if it's online, I'll have my headphones in where it will actually read the test or the passage out loud to me.
When I first started public elementary school in second grade, I was assigned a vision therapist who helped me advocate for myself because I was younger at the time and wasn't really able to speak for myself and my needs. I didn't really know what my needs were. I was young and didn't really understand the whole concept that I was visually impaired and not everyone was like me. And so I had my vision therapist until she retired last year, and she would help me express my needs to my teachers. And of course, as I got older, I was able to speak more for myself. And most of my accommodations were large print, text to speech. Whenever we did state testing, they would give me like a really big monitor. And a lot of the time I would use like different contrasted paper or loose leaf paper with like thicker lines so I could actually see where I was writing. There were a lot of accommodations, but because of the fact that a lot of teachers don't really understand or aren't really taught much about accommodations, you really have to learn how to speak up for yourself, because if you don't, they're not going to know and you're not going to get what you need. So that's something I learned throughout and still in my high school years.
Right. And Chloe, to that end, I think that as advocates, both for yourselves and even if you realize it or not for other people, a lot of what we do is education based. You kind of touched on this a little bit, but I find that when you have these disabilities and need this extra care, sometimes the people you're asking maybe don't understand what that's like, or understand why you need it. And as much as we can, I think we should try to educate them as to why it's important and why why these services that you're asking for will be a benefit to you and also to other students. And that leads me to the next question, which is, how do your peers and your educators, your either professors or your teachers, how do they react when you ask for accommodation? And what would you want them to know about some of the things that you have encountered throughout the school year, in terms of if you've gotten some pushback that you maybe thought was a little unfounded, or you wish that you could go back and say, I needed this for this, and this is why this worked out. What are some of those experiences that you've had? And if you were on this call with them instead of me, what would you want to say?
I would tell my professors at my school that they can try to advocate in some sense a little bit better, because some of them are older, they might not understand what accommodations are or what are needed for a student. Even though there's a process that I have to go through every semester with the Office of Disabilities Affairs Director, which is for completing a document saying I have this disability, here's my paperwork from my audiologist, and these are the accommodations that I need. When I first started college, my professors didn't really understand, like, why does she need all these accommodations, what it's for? Because they would see me, but they don't see my hearing aids. They will assume, like, oh, she's fine, or she's normal, something like that. And I would think people could be educated more on the fact that people have different disabilities, whether it's physical or something you may not be able to see. And also, I'd like to point out that I founded an ASL club on my campus to give people the opportunity to understand the deaf and autistic community, and also learn another language, which is American Sign Language, which is not often talked about in society today, or often taught in schools that I would know of.
There's a few things that I wish that teachers would have paid attention to. I wish they would have noticed that I was struggling really, really bad in like elementary. And people don't really like to ask for help when they're in elementary, because bullying is terrible. Like, people don't like to talk about it, because like, soon as you say something about it, you need help with anything, you're gonna get laughed at, you're gonna get teased the whole school year. So I wish that people really would have noticed, my teachers really would have noticed how much I was struggling, and at least tried to help me or talk to me about it.
With me, honestly, I want teachers to know that not everybody learns the same. Because whenever I was in elementary, like what Miss Harrison had said, being bullied and getting bullied for speaking up and all that, that's what happened with me. Even having a teacher say that I wouldn't be anything in life. I wouldn't be able to do anything. I just have to depend on my mom and dad or my sister for everything. I wouldn't do anything. But I could have gave up a long time ago. But once I started going like to fifth through 8th grade, everything started catching on. And when my teacher told me that I wouldn't be anything in life, that fueled that fire, saying, okay, let me prove you wrong right here. So that's what I want teachers to know. Not every child is going to learn the same way. Like, if you need if you need an assistant to come in to help the child out, please do, like, without any questions asked. Or help them do their homework based on the disabilities, and have a good support system. And I know not a lot of people have that, but once I got to high school, I told my teachers, I gave them my IEP, like, hey, I have this. I'm gonna need help with this. And from freshman year all the way to my senior year, my teachers were like, oh, we got this kid. Okay, I need to do this, this, and this. And I think that's what a lot of teachers need to be educated. Like, okay, not a lot of people are going to do the same, and let's see what we can do to help this child out. It's to break them down and make them think that they're not going to be anything.
For me personally, there's a very big stigma that I've noticed that legally blind people aren't truly blind, because I'm not fully blind, but I can't see that well. So I'm in the middle, and a lot of my teachers, they didn't believe me. They didn't really listen to me whenever I tried to advocate for my needs, which wasn't all of my teachers. A lot of them were great and went above and beyond and really took the time to learn about my disabilities and ask me questions about my disabilities and ask me what I needed instead of assuming, oh, she doesn't need this, it's not a big deal. They would ask me what I specifically needed, and that would get done. But a lot of teachers don't understand the concept of accommodations, and they're not really educated on students with disabilities, because I was some of my teachers' first disabled student ever. Like, some of my teachers have never ever experienced, teaching a disabled student before. And my goal in my education journey is to educate teachers and my peers as well on students with disabilities, because we're human just like everyone else. We just need different things to adapt to the world that wasn't made for us. So I would really like to tell my teachers, like, teachers really need to be more educated so the student themselves is not having to really always explain everything to every single teacher, because it gets tiring and it's repetitive. And it's not bad. It's good to educate people about your disabilities and what you need. But there's a point where the teachers themselves need to be educated before they even experience teaching a student with a disability.
Thank you for that. I think that it's, it can be very difficult to be like you said, the first of the door in your case, Chloe, to have it be the first person that they've dealt with that has a disability and needs those accommodations. So, the amount of extra effort that takes and patience on your part that takes is I'm sure at times very difficult for you, but is very much appreciated, because one thing to remember is whenever we make any kind of change, it not only impacts ourselves and the people that are directly in our little bubbles, but also kind of paves the way for people behind us. So to that end, I'd like to move on to the next question, which is, what are some positive aspects of living with disability? And obviously our big theme for today has been the challenges that are associated with being in the education system in Louisiana, and also having a disability. What the extra effort that it takes to get to where a student without a disability can be very daunting. But in your opinion, how is that worth it? How is that extra effort worth the how is that beneficial, or how has it impacted you in a positive way?
Personally, I would say that it impacted me in a positive way by giving me the opportunity to be different and be the advocate for those who cannot speak for themselves. And also, I can be the one that educates people in a nice manner, so people won't as quickly assume the stereotypes are true to people with disabilities. Like with my disability, people assume that I make weird noises when I talk, or they don't know I can talk verbally, or something may come up in a stereotypical way. And people can learn about different disabilities, not just mine. They can learn about Usher syndrome, spina bifida, all these type of different disabilities, and still have a better understanding of what they didn't have before.
This year, there have been many positive impacts of my disability. I've made, well, my first huge accomplishment I've ever did was I made the homecoming court, which made me the first person on the homecoming court with a disability. And that really showed me that if I really just wanted it and worked for it, that I can get it. And so I'm very proud of what I've achieved. And I hope there's a lot more that I can do, like become a pediatrician and help kids like myself.
With me, one of the big accomplishments that I had, I will never forget. It was 8th grade ceremony, and one of the top people in my class had wrote a speech saying, "Who inspired you?" And she had almost like 4.3 or 4.4 GPA and all that, and she said that I was her big inspiration, because with me having dyslexia and plus with my I forgot to mention with my allergies, asthma, I used to be out of school a lot, and I would have to catch up on work for like 2 or 3 weeks, and it'll be hard, but I never gave up. I kept grinding it, and she said that I was her big inspiration, and also I was also student of the year at Bo Shanghai, and another thing is I actually had the opportunity, which I thought I would never have, was to actually go speak to the Bessie board about my disability and what in my life, how this changed me. And another thing that helps me with my anxiety is I'm a martial artist. I'm a third degree black belt in Taekwondo, and I'm also a assistant instructor in the sport. So I help teach kids to defend themselves, also help them with their self-confidence, because I know whenever I was getting bullied, I was and all that, I had none. I don't know what to do. So when my parents put me in martial arts, I've been doing this for over 11 years. That was one of their best decisions they made. And I just want, and with me, my job over there is to teach kids how to defend themselves, never to do anything bad, and how to gain self-confidence, and to say that we are a family. If you need help, we got you. If you need help learning a certain technique, don't think that you are a burden to us. That is our job to do. And also, I was a powerlifter. I ranked 5th in the state in the 123 weight class, which that helped me with confidence too, with my anxiety, because I was with a big crowd. And honestly, making friends over the past years with me having anxiety and dyslexia, and that really helped me a lot, big time.
And I do want to go ahead, Chloe.
I think the biggest positive aspect of having a disability is the community in general, like the entire disability community, because I had a platform. It's not super, but it's helped me reach out to a lot of other people with disabilities and other people that have similar disabilities to mine, and it really it makes me feel not alone, because, you know, when you have a disability and the world around you isn't built for you and it's not accessible, a lot of the times you feel really isolated, like you're the only person on this entire planet that is struggling. But having that community with you and having other people with similar experiences to yours really helps to ease the loneliness feeling that you get whenever you come across inaccessible things or things that really put you down. For like, whenever you get put down for having a disability or something happens and it's because of the fact that you have a disability, having the community is a really positive aspect.
And before we move on, I do want to go back to Amina. You have your hand raised.
I also wanted to say that being in college, and like I said, I started college in the pandemic. I ended high school in the pandemic, so my confidence was kind of low on my disability because I didn't know how to talk to people with the mask and the 6 feet rule and everything. But around my sophomore year, when COVID when the COVID rate went down a little bit and people stopped wearing masks more often, I was able to be interviewed by a classmate of mine, and she kind of boosted my confidence because I was very insecure about my disability at a young age because people would make fun of me in grade school. I had a teacher my senior year of high school right before the pandemic happened say that I would never get into college and I would never succeed in life. And also I was the first person at my school to do the national anthem and ASL at a basketball game. So I would say I tried. I'm glad I didn't let my teacher belittle me, because I probably would just gave up on my dream of being at school or being at Southern in itself. And I probably wouldn't be where I am now if I listened to her.
And I have one more question for y'all, but before I go into that, I just want to point out that I have been doing this for probably about close to 10 years now, and all of you are younger than I was when I started. So the fact that you are, you know, the ages that you are and have the experiences that you are, and are willing and able to talk about these topics that are very personal and very, very raw in some cases is really fantastic. And I have every confidence that you all will go on to do really great things. And I, for one, can't wait to, you know, to play witness to that. I think it's gonna be really cool to see where y'all end up in a couple of years. So thank you again for being here, just for me personally, because I really wanted to do this panel in particular. I know that when Chloe you know, presented the prompt, I was like, I want to do this for sure. So I'm really glad that I was able to be the one to help present this today. The final question that I have for y'all before we move on, because I know we have a couple of couple of audience questions, is what's the main message of this panel from your perspective, and what do you really want to leave both this audience with and audiences that may see this in the future? What's one message that you would want to make sure that you get across?
I would want to leave the audience with always just treat people with respect, because you never know what that person's going through mentally or physically, and just always keep that on your mind.
I would say to tell people to not judge a person judge a book by its cover, and also see the person's ability, not their disability, at first hand, because you might not know what they're capable of just if you just judge them off the disability that they may have, because they could be doing a lot of different things. Like myself, right now I'm a governance fellow, and I'm glad to be in the opportunity that I am now, because it opened my eyes to my what I'm doing in school, my major, and I love the people I work with, and I'm enjoying my experience so far. And also ask questions. It's always okay to ask questions. Don't assume. when it comes to a person with disability, because you might have the wrong assumptions.
With me, I just like to say, like, just because you have a disability doesn't mean that you can't learn. You can only learn the way that you feel that it's going to help you. And another thing is with anybody that has a disability, if somebody is messing with you, saying that, oh, you can't be anything in life, don't take it. If you have a dream, go for it. If you have big plans, go for it. Like with me, I could have gave up a long time ago. I could have gave up almost like, I don't know, 8 years ago if I wanted to. But with a good support system, and if somebody does say that, oh, you can't do anything, make that your fuel. Make that fuel to that fire that you want to do. That you want to do whatever you want. That you want to do that. Do whatever you want. That mean, if you want to become criminal, and you want to go into the police force, auto mechanics, criminologists, or anything that's out there, go for it. Don't let people don't let anybody tell you what you can and can't do, and saying that you can't learn because of disability.
I think the biggest takeaway for this whole panel is really to have an open mind and to not judge people, because like it's just, you never know someone's story or someone's background, and you don't know where they come from, or things of that sort. And especially in the education system, I really want educators and students without disabilities, with and without disabilities, to really be open-minded about students with disabilities. Because if you're not educated on a certain topic, and you're not open-minded to learn about anything, you're only going to see something one way, which isn't really a life you want to lead, because who wants to lead their life in black and white when you can learn about so many different diversities and disabilities and people's backgrounds and stories, and it's all just a very diverse world out there. And if you're not open-minded, then what life are you living?
Great. So for this next section, we're just going to go over some audience questions. So the first is from Rob J. He said, I was forced to submit a discrimination complaint with OCR. It was wrongfully not investigated. With a quality education, without a quality education, we have not a hope for a gainful life. What do you think we can do to navigate the education system to graduate from school? So let me rephrase that a little bit. What do you think are the biggest sort of takeaways from a perspective of advocating for yourself or dealing with some of the other issues that you have that you would want other people to know that we haven't gone over yet? Or is there anything else that you want to add in terms of interacting with school officials or sort of, other programs such as LRS or anything like that?
I would say having the staff having the right training so they know how to maneuver with those with disabilities and how to help them. And also, I know that funding could be a big issue at schools, that they may not have the funds or investment to have the resources that they may need to give the student. For example, like certain assistive technology, they may have technology, but it's not modernized to assist students in whatever they need for classes or school or in housing in general for colleges specifically. And for Bob J, I'm trying to see what his question, oh, it went away. I would say that the training is a big one and funding also big because people, I think the staff would need as much training or information that they can get to be able to help though the students with disabilities in schools in general, for sure.
And so this is from Jim Mitchell. Who is responsible for your accommodations? Is it you or is it someone else? So when you make these requests, are you the ones that have to, you find do it yourselves, or are there other systems in place that help you do that on your behalf?
I know for me, it's kind of, I would say 50-50, because it's up to me to submit the document before a certain deadline. And then it's the Office of Disability Director responsibility to send the document and the accommodation to and email my professors, but this is the student that you'll have this semester, this is what they need. And if you have any questions, ask them or the director themselves, so there won't be any confusion between the student and the professor, especially the professor doesn't know or never had a student with a disability in that classroom.
I believe the same thing. It's 50-50. And another thing is, like, if another good thing that we should probably do too is have parent and teacher partnership and researching about these disabilities so we can know how to help these children out. And because if we don't do that, then the child is going to be lost and not know what to do. But if we have parent and teacher partnership, we can help these kids out big time, because and it takes a team to help a person out, not just a single person. It takes an entire team to help somebody.
I would say it's up to you, or like where I go to school, if you don't say anything, you don't get help. And so it's really up to me to tell anybody that I need accommodations or go talk to the principal about it if the teacher's not doing anything about it, because they will leave you behind and they won't care.
I think for me personally, it is a mix of both, because I am the one mainly advocating for myself, but my vision therapists and my teachers are also helpful in advocating for me, but it's mainly me who advocates for myself, because I have to talk to my vision therapist or my teachers in order for them to advocate for me. Because if I don't say anything, nothing's going to happen. And in order to advocate, you have to advocate for yourself first before anyone helps advocate for you, because you have to do it for you.
And next we have a comment from Albert Steve. I hope I said that correctly. I apologize if I didn't. They suggested that you talk to your professors about your needs and the disability office. If it does not share details, as long as it doesn't share details, they give you opportunity for additional testing and accommodations as needed. And that's something that's very important for everyone to know, is that a lot of these schools, both high school and also colleges, have programs, specific offices that do offer accommodation. And so, as they mentioned, being vocal advocates for that is a good way to not only help yourself, but also help other people. And we've hit on that pretty well. One question from Julie is what advice would you give parents of other students with disabilities to help support their child?
What my parents did all with me growing up, they taught me how to advocate for myself, whether it was simply ordering pizza on the phone or talking to the doctor about something or having going on with my issue or my audiology having issues with my hearing aid, and also talking to teachers. They recommended me that I email my professors when I started college before school starts to let them know, like give them a heads up. Hi, my name is Amina Mitchell. I have hearing disability, and it's the accommodations that I'll need before the documentation from the director comes through, because that's when the process is almost over, when school halfway through. So I would want my professor to know about my disability beforehand, so they won't be confused, like why she is ignoring me, what's going on that she's not understanding. So my parents made sure I advocate for myself, primarily, especially growing up and being in college by myself. They wanted me to be able to speak up for myself, because people may not know what to do or how to communicate with me, but I should be able to communicate for myself in the best way possible.
With me, I'll say, don't be afraid to speak up. Like if you're having problems in school, like don't be afraid to say, hey, mom or dad, like I'm having trouble with this. I'm having a little trouble with this. It's okay. You can kind of help me out and try to teach it in a way that you think you can help me a little bit. And if they start seeing the signs, like, okay, we're probably gonna have to sometimes get tested for certain disabilities, like, and don't be ashamed of it, like, because to be honest, when I was younger, when my teacher used to call me an idiot, I thought, I actually believed her for a second, but it wasn't till I got tested for dyslexia. I was like, okay, so I'm not an idiot. It's just that I'm just having a little problem understanding and processing the information, and have a good support group. Like that is the biggest thing to have, is a good support group. Like when I got to high school, my biggest support group, and he's actually still one of my biggest support group, is actually my freshman teacher. And I basically consider him as one of my mentors. And him, my mom, and all my other teachers would help the other teachers that I have from sophomore on up to senior year say, okay, he has this, and this. We're gonna help you out, so you know how to help teach him a way that he's gonna know. And if you need, and don't be afraid to be one-on-one with a teacher sometimes. Like stay after class, do a little tutor session. Don't be afraid to do it. And I think that's the big thing.
I would say, while your children are younger, teach them to understand their disability and understand that people are or might say things to them that will try to discourage them or hurt their feelings. Just let your child understand that they are a person with feelings, and things might hurt their feelings, but they're going to have to understand it's going to happen, and just be gentle with them, but also help them understand what's going on so they won't be embarrassed throughout their entire, all of their years of school.
All wonderful points. We are running out of time. I just wanted to very quickly, again, thank everyone for being here. We had some wonderful discussion, wonderful questions. If we didn't get to your question, I will do my best to copy those, and I can send them to our panelists and have written responses ready for you. I think there are some really good additional comments and questions that were made. A lot of support for y'all, which I think is very warranted. So thank you to all our panelists again for being here. As I mentioned, this is the last panel for the day. So this is going to conclude all of our GACTA panels for the day. We have some incredible sessions tomorrow and over the next couple of days from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So please come back and look at our schedules that we have for wonderful additional panels. Hopefully they're very as informative as they were today. I think it's only going to get better from here. And again, you know, I can't say enough about these students. They really are fantastic and clearly going to do really great things. So it's been a pleasure to present this to you today. And thank you all for being here.